It's always special in this rivalry when you can, get a win. But to do it in that kind of fashion, what does that kind of mean for this team and kind of get some momentum going here?
Yeah, I think it's. We've been kind of taking 2 steps forward and 1.5 back, and 2 steps forward, and statistically and on paper, everything looks okay. It's just that we haven't played consistently good baseball to kind of, I don't know, I guess just feel good about the path that we're going. That's all. So great. Awesome to come back. Get 2 big innings, which usually has been happening the opposite against us, and but hey, it's great to do it and against anybody, but certainly in this type of environment, it gives the guys a lot of confidence, and because they're a good club. They obviously have done a lot of good things, and they can pitch and so on and so forth. So hey, it's a positive, no doubt.
You guys always schedule tough at the beginning, but it seems like this series is kind of the make or break. Kind of what you have in your team. You kind of have solidified positions. It seems like by this time you kind of know who you're going to play, that type of thing. Do you feel like that's the case this year again? Do you feel like you kind of have an idea of what this team can be now?
Yeah, I think the spots that are up in the air is center field. We're trying to solidify that with Stotler, at least against right-handers, and maybe Sanchez against left-handers. Tankus has won the job and left. Brock will figure it out. We need him to figure it out. So he's talented, so you have to keep running him out there. And then what we do have to figure out is how we're going to use the bullpen. Really, that who can get us out of jams, inherited runners, different things like that. That's what I want in these next 4 games before we get into conference. And as we continue to unfold, that's one thing that we need to figure out. Who can get a ground ball? Who can get a punch out? Who can do those different things? And maybe it'd only be 1 hitter or 2 hitters. I don't really know yet, and that's kind of what we're figuring out. Radcliffe's a little dinged up. Fields is a little dinged up. So, we're a little dinged up. Smith has been dinged up. He'll be back this weekend. So we're kind of meandering our way through with kind of McCacken just kind of holding down the fort. Rivera, Advocate, and those guys are kind of holding down the fort. But I think position player-wise, I think guys know where they're at and where they need to be ready for.
How do you feel about the 3 guys? Your bulk, I guess, which you kind of moved down in the order a little bit now with Lundquist and Jackson, Rasmussen. Him getting his first homer. You expect those guys to kind of be the pop in the lineup, and the first homer from the trio of them today. What can you do to kind of get them going maybe a little bit more consistently, and are you concerned at all with the way they've started?
No, Rasmussen's actually been off to a great start. He had 16 RBIs in borderline 19 games that we played, or 18 games. So he's been good. Do we think that there is more there? Of course. But at the same time, if you look at the production is solid. It's on-base percentage is high. Lundquist is actually getting on base, not with hitting, but he's still giving us a chance by pitches. There are some walks in there and things like that. So Tankus is kind of solidified. So the lineup can go deep. It can get deep. It gets a little right-handed, but it can go deep and it can stretch out and have some length. But at the same time, I think they're trying to just get their feet on the ground. There's a lot going on. It's draft years. It's expectation. There's a lot of stuff going on that's hard to exactly talk about. I don't or be definitive about. So that's kind of what we're trying to work through with them, in our experience of guys in the same situation. But at the same time, I think if they just take good at-bats, the numbers will take care of themselves because they have had production here in the past.
It seemed like you trusted them in the 8th inning, kind of went away from the normal.
Yeah, did.
First and second, no outs, and instead you decided to swing the bat there with a couple guys. What kind of went into that decision?
You got to ask Bergie. Honestly, I give him a lot of autonomy and a lot of authority, and I'm not trying to micromanage, anything. Hookie and I were kind of laughing at pregame today, saying, we don't really do a lot, but obviously it's not true. But at the same time, I trust Bergie, and if he thinks he can get our player and our personnel in the right spot to do the right thing based off the matchup. And it paid off because at least he got a fly ball and we were at advance at 90. We could have bunted, there's no question, and Ras could do that, and he may end up doing that, and he has done that in Oklahoma in different spots. So I think it's more of a message than a style or a culture that maybe at this moment we were just trying to do something a little bit different. And I think if you're going to do that, you want to do it now, then maybe do it in the middle of conference, something like that, so you can find out what guys can do.